A lot of homeowners file a claim for their roof after there's been a heavy rainfall, especially here in Florida. Should you file a claim? Is that the right way to do it? How do you do it? We're going to go through the math. We're going to talk about some pitfalls when this scenario comes up when you file your claim. Introduce myself. My name is Mike Keeler. I am a licensed public adjuster in the state of Florida. So one of the first things you should do is get an opinion from a licensed roofer in your area. All right, you want to find out where's the damage. Is it localized into one particular area? How old is the roof? And what is it going to cost to replace the roof? These are all factors that's going to lead into the other segments of this video. But this is the most important three things you can ask or find out. Age of the roof, obviously you should know that. If you bought the house and not really sure, you could also check with your local building department when they pull the permit. These are some of the typical issues that I see when people file a claim and they are not represented by a public adjuster or an attorney. The date of loss. Okay. This is a big issue. This is one of the most important things you need to get right. Look at some of my other videos. I've got a ton of roof claim videos. You will see the common theme is you cannot report your claim on the date you just discovered the damage. So if you have water in your ceiling or stains on your ceiling, right, you can't use that date because there is probably no weather event on that date. You have to go back and figure out what is the date of the storm that correlates. Floridians, people in Florida, and other parts of the country too. Although in Florida, they are much more strict on this. You got to make sure that you have a wind event, preferably 50 miles per hour and or greater for an extended period of time. Now, that's not the end all be all, but generally speaking, this will be the conditions. Sure, there's some freak conditions where a weather report may only show 30 miles an hour and you may have had a tornado hit in a very limited, condensed area. That happens a lot, especially here in Florida. So the other issue is your deductible and policies in Florida. You got to be careful. Some say wind or hurricane deductible. So if you report a claim and it's wind, depending on who your insurance company is, that wind deductible is going to be the same as your hurricane deductible, which is probably 2%, 5%, or 10%. All righty. There's another huge obstacle and issue with these type of claims when people report them. So every roof claim, generally speaking, 95%, maybe higher, they are being denied in 2024. They also started in 2023. Okay. This is very important to know because you need to know this ahead of time. Again, I am telling you more often than not what is going to take place. Make sure you contact somebody to at least find out what are your chances of getting a recovery. What was the elements and the events that led up to that claim, and to properly file the claim with the proper wording in the claim to give you the highest possible avenue of getting a recovery. So you want to make every effort to get as much information as possible. What do I mean by that? Dates of the weather event, the wind that day. Even if it's rain, fine. But rain, and we'll talk about this, you can't only use the word rain. It should be wind-driven rain. All right? Wind-driven rain. Put that into your mind. Usually when people see these videos, it's been too late. They've already reported a claim and they're on the verge of being denied, or they're told that they're going to deny it. That's when people usually see my videos, because then they start researching when you should have done it before. But anyhow, better late than never. I always say these days, which I never said a couple years ago, you need to have somebody represent you, a public adjuster or an attorney. All right? I will say wait for the attorney because of the amount of fees that they charge. Don't forget, like this video, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this. So the other big issue, rain is not covered. Rain is not a covered peril to cover your roof. So be careful on the words if you report the claim by yourself, if you're not having a professional like a public adjuster report it for you. Now your water intrusion, aka stains on your ceiling, walls, whatever the case might be covered under your policy, but your roof can still be denied. Water into your house, if you can show that there is a storm-created opening. This is a very important phrase too. Storm-created opening. Some policies state that you have to have a storm-created opening for your roof to be covered. Or damage to the roof is the best position you can be in. All right, so let me repeat that. Water in your house, and if you can show that there's roof damage by way of a roofing company helping you or a public adjuster helping you, and or a storm created opening, is going to put you in the best position possible. So the other important aspect that we now have to take in consideration in 2024, you have to figure out the math to find out if the claim is worthwhile, and that's why this is in the title of this video. We're going to run through this so you can go through it at home and figure out, is it going to be worth filing a claim for roof damage and trying to get a replacement roof. What is the age of your roof? What is the type of your roof? Okay? Is it shingles or concrete? That's going to be one element in figuring out the monetary value of the claim. What's your deductible? If you're in Florida, hurricane deductible. Elsewhere, do you have a separate wind deductible? Or is it considered other perils where it'll be either $1,000 or $2,500, $1K or $2.5K? What is the cost of the new roof? Get this as soon as possible if you think that you're going to file a claim for a roof replacement and you want a roof replacement. Find out what the cost of this new roof is. This is important in calculating the math to see if it's worth filing a claim. And do you have an interior damage? If you're only claiming a roof, that changes the whole dynamics of the claim itself. So we're going to go through an example of a claim and figuring out the math so you can do this at home. Okay, first you want to find out what is the age. For a shingle roof, and we're going to use this example being a shingle roof, the lifespan is about 15 to 20 years. Now the insurance company, because pretty much now every policy, every state, you will have to pay some type of depreciation. And we'll just take in consideration that this roof was 10 years old. Depreciation. Expect about a 50% reduction in what the insurance company is going to have to pay for depreciation. So, shingle roof, let's just say the cost of that roof $25,000. You can adjust this any way you want. If you have a smaller roof and it's $15,000, fine. Let's take this depreciation. 50%. It's 10 years old. Okay? Your roof is 10 years old. Now, if your roof happens to be older, a lot of these guys meaning insurance companies, might have a table. Some will kind of just arbitrarily pick a number out of thin air. Well, if it's 15, you can expect more than 50%, maybe 75. But we'll just stick to this example, 10-year-old roof. They're going to depreciate it by 50% more than likely. So now you're left with $12,500. If you're in Florida and you have a wind deductible, you can figure out from there a hurricane deductible. Okay, let's say you're not in Florida. If you're not in Florida, probably more than likely you're going to be looking at a $2,500 or $1,000 deductible, which would be other peril for the covered loss of wind or hail. We could use hail as an example too, but let's just stick to wind. So then let's just say it's $2,500. Obviously, the math is you could be left with about $10,000. So you have to decide if it's worth the claim or not. Now, this changes a little bit, but the formula that I've just laid out remains pretty consistent. If it's over 10 years, expect more depreciation. All right. And then the deductible factor, if you're in Florida and you have a hurricane deductible and you're saying it's a storm from a hurricane, that will apply. If it's tropical storms, depending on the policy, you might only have to pay your other perils deductible. Because if it's just a windstorm, depending on the policy, it may not fall into that hurricane deductible category. So hopefully this is an example for you that's helpful so that you can determine whether or not it's worthwhile to file a claim. Now this video is just a general overview. There's a lot more that goes into it. Take a look at some of my other videos. There's a ton of them. I didn't go into like engineers and when the adjuster comes and all that, because this is just supposed to help you in understanding some of the basics, some of what you should do and what you shouldn't do, and then now the math on how you can figure out if it's worth it. All right, in this example, we use a $25,000 roof. Obviously, it's $15,000. The lower the cost, generally, and it's an older roof, it probably will not make sense to move forward with the claim. I have tiers. When I think a claim should be worth it after your deductible, 0 to 5,000 after your deductible, it's not worth filing the claim in my opinion. 5 to 10,000, that depends on your financial situation. Then anything over 10,000, yeah, you don't think twice about it. You file the claim. Hopefully you guys got a few tips and it was helpful that you watched this video. Again, my name is Mike Keeler. I'm a licensed public adjuster in Florida. If you have any questions or you need help with a claim, this is how you can get a hold of me. Thank you.